Why me? Why? How could you let this happen? How can I believe in a God who allows suffering? It's the age-old question. If God was a loving God, why does he allow suffering? Either he is all-loving and he's powerless to do anything about suffering, or he's all-powerful and he's not loving. So which one is it? Well, in the beginning, God created this beautiful paradise for Adam and Eve to live in. And he created humankind with a choice. They could choose good or they could choose evil. And the reason he did that is because he wanted the potential for there to be true love. Because if he had created us beings who had no choice, then we would basically be robots. We would just be doing whatever he told us, and there would be no opportunity for us to do good or evil. So we would be robots. But God wanted us to have the potential to love. And with that, there was also the potential for evil. So God did not create evil. He created the potential for it. So he gave us free will so we could do whatever we wanted to, obey God or do whatever we wanted to do. And so the story of Adam and Eve, we know how that worked out. They chose poorly. And the world went into chaos. People started killing each other. There were disease, there was famine. Man had to harvest fruit and vegetables from cursed ground. And so all kinds of stuff happened. And so now we have suffering and we have struggle. And it sucks because I guarantee you, I know that you have dealt with suffering in the past, and I know some of you are going through it right now. And the fact is that God cares about you. He allows pain and suffering, but when you are in suffering, when you are struggling, he is there with you in the midst of it. And I think that is the most beautiful thing about our loving God, is that when you do go through struggles, when you do go through trials, when your heart is so broken that you don't think it can be repaired, God is there with you. He's sitting with you in the valley of the shadow of death. God's only Son, Jesus Christ, went through the ultimate suffering. He was beaten, he was tortured, and ultimately he was crucified, naked, bloodied, on the cross in front of everyone. And he died. He died a horrible death. So if you want to know if God knows what you're going through, he knows what you're going through, because he sent his one and only Son, his only Son. And he ended up dying on the cross. So he gets what you're going through. But that being said, it still sucks. Suffering sucks. And I wish we didn't have to go through this. I wish we didn't have to endure wars. I wish there wasn't childhood cancer. I wish bad things didn't happen to good people. It stinks. It absolutely stinks. There's a scripture in John chapter 16, verse 33 that's so powerful. And this is Jesus speaking. I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. So Jesus is straight up with us and says, you know what? This life that you're in right now, you're going to experience many struggles, many trials, many tribulations, but I've overcome the world. And I think that's so very cool. He's given us hope. That being said, suffering sucks. Wars, terrorists, school shootings. Couldn't God have foreseen all of this? Foreseen all of our struggles, all of our pain. Couldn't he have seen that? known that that was going to happen and somehow prevented it. If you think of it in terms of us as parents, there are many parents who they looked ahead, they kind of imagined in their mind and thought, you know what, our child could be hit by a car, or our child could get sick, or this could happen to my child, or this could happen to my child. But did that cause them to not have children? No, they had children because they also thought of the great joy and the great love that would be there with a child. And although suffering is hard, it's grueling, it's so painful, God can create good out of that. He can create lemonade out of whatever lemons you're going through. And there's another scripture in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, that says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." God can create good. God will create good out of your situation. He does it because he loves you. And although suffering and trials and tribulations and pain and despair suck, God can create good out of that. So whatever you're going through, whatever you are dealing with, know this, that God will create good out of your garbage, out of the things that you're struggling with. God will create good. Is God the author of suffering? No. He created the potential for it, yes. But he gives us hope in the midst of it. So whatever you're going through, whatever suffering, whatever struggle you're going through, give it to Jesus. Give it to him who can help you. Give it to him who can give you peace, who can help you endure. God is not the author of pain and suffering. He's not the author of evil. Instead, he sent his one and only Son to earth to experience everything that we did so that we would understand him better as well. We don't have a God who is high and lofty and aloof and just disconnected from our pain and sorrow. Jesus has been through everything that we've been through. He was crucified on a cross. He was tortured. He was abused for us. And so whatever pain and suffering you're going through, you can bet that Jesus understands everything that you're going through, and he can help you in your time of need.